This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Friday, November 16th, 2018. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Better weather in store for us today, and boy, did George Young from DMV Weather miss the ball on that one. We're going to give him a hard time on the weather yesterday, and it was a dangerous one on Anne Arundel County roads. There were 42 reported accidents. Anne Arundel County schools canceled all after-school activities, and of those 42 accidents, 8 of them caused injuries. One of them caused the death of a Glen Burnie woman. Victoria Lewis Johnson, 25, was driving her vehicle, lost control on Grover Road in Millersville. A county utility vehicle struck the woman's car on the passenger side, sending it into a ditch. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The Capitol is reporting that the trial of Jarod Ramos, the man who is accused of shooting 5 Capitol Gazette employees on June 28th, will have his trial delayed until June. This is about a 6-month postponement. And yesterday, Anne Arundel County Circuit Court Judge Laura Ripken set a 9 a.m. June 3rd trial date. Ripken cited outstanding motions, preparation for trial, and a looming change of prosecution as the reason. Now, on that change of prosecution, according to Wes Adams, who is the state's attorney who is currently prosecuting the case, he said that several, if not all of the attorneys prosecuting the case are expected to leave the office in the coming months as a result of the election. And another possible glitch coming down the road for that is that Ramos has until February 12th to make a decision as to whether he wants to plead not criminally responsible by reason of insanity. If that's the case, it puts a whole different angle on this case. Yesterday morning, right about 9:30, 8 midshipmen were medically evaluated after they reported a chemical odor coming from a classroom at Mickelson Hall, which houses the chemistry department. According to a spokesman at the Naval Academy, the odor is believed to have resulted from a previous day chemistry project, and the 8 midshipmen were medically evaluated and no other potential injuries were reported. All of the midshipmen were ambulatory, they were breathing normally, and were treated just as a precaution. There was a huge fire and EMS response from the Naval Station in Annapolis, the Annapolis Fire Department, as well as the Anne Arundel County Fire Department. They all responded, including Anne Arundel County's ambulance bus. Last week, a 3-judge panel determined that the 6th congressional district borders were drawn illegally to benefit Democrats in the state of Maryland. This is something we've all realized for quite some time, and we've all been looking for change. They ordered that the lines be redrawn in time for the 2020 election. Not so fast. Democrat Maryland Attorney General Brian Frosh announced yesterday that he is going to appeal that ruling, saying that he wants the U.S. Supreme Court to decide the case. Frosh is acting against the will of Governor Larry Hogan, and he did notify the district court in Baltimore yesterday that he will contest the order. Now, if the state wins its appeal, there would be no effect on the 2020 election. But if it loses in a case decided in mid-2019, it would be too late for the General Assembly to approve a new map during its 2019 regular session. So basically, if the Supreme Court does not come down with a decision within the next 6 months, we may be stuck with the pterodactyl district of District 6. That is about it for the top news today. Please make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net throughout the day because we do update it throughout the day. It is Friday. We do have our picks for the weekend coming up, including info on the USS Sioux City commissioning and tours that are still available, Navy football, and much more. And, on the USS Sioux City, check out eyeonannapolis.net. We got a chance to go on board and take a behind-the-scenes tour. Got some great pictures from Glenn Miller, all on eyeonannapolis.net. But hang tight, we've got our weekend picks coming up, as well as your local weather forecast from George Young and DMV Weather.
Here's to the teacher who spends her weekend helping children who need a little extra attention. To the soldier who missed the birth of his baby while serving overseas. To the EMT working full-time and taking night classes. To the police officers and firefighters working long hours away from their families to keep our families safe. Here's to you, our hometown heroes. I'm Alan Hyatt, Chairman and President of Severn Bank, and we know there are many heroes among us, men and women who serve without expecting anything in return. which is why we're honored to offer our Hometown Heroes program to educators, law enforcement officers, firefighters, first responders, healthcare workers, and military personnel. Whether you're opening a checking account or buying a new home, we're here to give back to you. Learn more about our Hometown Heroes program at severnbank.com. Severn Bank, here with you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and here's your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Friday, November 16th. Yesterday's storm definitely lived up to all the hype and then some for a nor'easter, with a wintry mix in the AM that was way more than just the 15 to 30 minutes of winter weather eye candy we thought we would see before it switched to rain, and instead it delivered snow and sleet for a few solid hours in the morning to produce an inch or more of accumulations in spots, and some of it covered the roads that we just really thought would not happen at all, before rains hit late morning into the evening and nighttime hours, pushing BWI just over the all-time record mark set in 2003, making 2018 now officially the wettest year on record at BWI. And let's face it, if yesterday's storm was any kind of insight into the future winter ahead, then logic would say we may be following up the wettest year ever for the region with the snowiest. Time will tell once we get to April, but one thing's clear after a few separate coastal storms in just the past couple of weeks, and that's this: the right pattern is in place for an active and snow-filled winter weather season. But first things first, and today will provide some nice clearing after yesterday's onslaught of snow, sleet, rain, and wind, though today will be breezy in its own right. Then the weekend will bring great weather, though still 5 to 10 degrees below normal, with sunshine and highs 45 to 52. And looking into next week toward Thanksgiving, the general expectation now is for high pressure to dominate the eastern half of the United States with stable, dry conditions with sunshine and cool temps in the upper 40s to mid-50s. So get out and about this weekend and also next week for time off for the holidays and maybe even a little vacation time. And be sure to try to get out to the 9 a.m. commissioning of the USS Sioux City tomorrow in Annapolis before then taking in the 3:30 Navy home football game. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Get our free weather app by searching for DC MDVA Weather in your app store, and also follow us on our website at dmvweather.com or on Facebook or Twitter so you can always stay weather informed. But remember, whatever the weather outside, have fun and be safe.
When you think of Watermark, you probably think of Harbor Queen. You know, the big white boat that sits down at the end of City Dock. But did you know that Harbor Queen is much more than just a visitor attraction? That thousands of local school children take field trips aboard it every year to learn about the Chesapeake Bay and our region's history. But that's not all you don't know about Watermark. When the Susquehanna River crested, washing thousands of tons of debris into our waterways, Watermark was there, rolling up their sleeves, helping the Annapolis Harbor Master clean up Ego Alley. And when the Annapolis Police Department SWAT team needed a boat to conduct special training exercises on to help protect our waters, they called Watermark. Watermark, making our mark. To learn more about how Watermark is here for our hometown, visit watermarkjourney.com.
Every weekend, there's something exciting going on in the Annapolis area. Be sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net to sign up for a newsletter highlighting all the weekend events. Here are our top picks for this weekend.
Thank God it's
Okay, the weekend is a little bit weird. We've got a little bit of culture, a little bit of excitement, a lot of Navy stuff, and some bump and grind. So let's get right into it. It all really happens tomorrow. First things first, let's talk about the Navy. The USS Sioux City is being commissioned tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. There is a live stream feed of that. You can see that at usna.edu. They will have public tours, which are free again, from 10:30 to 3 p.m. That will happen after the commissioning ceremony. A little bit later on in the afternoon, Navy football takes on Tulsa at 3:30, and we will be there along with Kevin from Shellback Sports, bringing that game to you starting at 3:30. We will have a live blog. Also follow us on Twitter and all of that. For a little bit of culture, you have A Christmas Carol. Yes, the Colonial Players on East Street are putting on the Christmas Carol again, and that is a biannual event. So it didn't happen last year, but it happened the year before. It is always a sellout for all 16 performances, and it is a huge turnout from the town to get tickets. You're limited to 8 tickets per person. They are $10 a piece, and tickets go on sale at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the Colonial Players Theater at 108 East Street. The performances will run December 6th through the 16th on Thursdays through Sundays. Up in Davidsonville tomorrow afternoon, Homestead Gardens is having their tree lighting ceremony and their grand illumination. It gets underway at 4:30 p.m. It goes till about 6:15. There will be food, there will be music, there will be entertainment, and there will be 250,000. That is 250,000 lights lighting up in unison, and it just sort of really lights up that whole 214 area in Davidsonville. You really got to get there to kick off the holiday season with Homestead Gardens, and when you see it all light up, you really can't help but get into the holiday spirit. All right, now we get a little bit dicey. Tomorrow afternoon at 12:30, Ram's Head is having their first ever drag brunch at Ram's Head on Stage. It's going to be a drag queen brunch at Ram's Head on Stage. It's presented by Annapolis Pride. The doors will open at 11:30. The show gets started at 12:30. You want to get there early to get your brunch. And actually, Ram's Head has a very good brunch, whether you're going to the drag brunch or just brunch, period. They've got a good brunch. Trust me on that one. Mimosas, Bloody Marys, and they do suggest bringing your dollar bills for the drag show. Ought to be a blast there. A little bit later on tomorrow night, Les Folies Derrière presents a peep show pop-up. Yes, this is getting underway at 8 p.m. It goes till 10 p.m. at Art Farm Annapolis, which is at 46 West Street, 2 doors to the left of 49 West. And they bill it as kind of Midnight Madness, but filthier. An after-hours burlesque bazaar, which will have local artisan vendors, creamed and sugared and Victoria Poodle pinup. Cocktails will be courtesy of Leon Distilling Company, and good old-fashioned bump and grind from Gigi Holiday and London St. Juniper. It will be a hoot at Art Farm. There is a $5 suggested donation, and please note, this is a 21 and up event. That is about it for the weekend. Lots of good stuff going on. Take your pick, and whatever you do, please do it safely because we want to see you back here again on Monday. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.